Entrepreneurs have to grind and hustle at all times and work 24 hours a day, 365 days a year in order to be successful. This is such a myth. Seriously, I've recently been reading a book. It's called Chillpreneur. It's by Denise Duffield Thomas. And it's amazing because there's just so many ideas that we have, especially as women, especially as moms, around this whole idea that we have to grind and hustle in order to be successful. But what we seem to fail to understand, and the frame of mind that we don't put ourselves in, is that a lot of the people historically that we're thinking of when we talk about grinding and hustle, they happen to be of a different gender. And guess what? They also happen to not be the primary caregivers for the children, nor do they happen to also be the primary person who takes care of the household. That's very interesting, you might think. So that makes this a whole different ballgame. So as a mom, especially being selfless, as many of us are, like, really? Now we're going to throw this other responsibility of being on every day, 24 hours, 7 days a week, and grinding and hustle? Like we don't already do that? That doesn't even make sense, because the whole idea behind you becoming an entrepreneur, I'm willing to bet, has a lot to do with you being able to spend more time with your family and gaining financial freedom. I don't know about you, but that's most people that I know, that it really revolves around those two things. So that whole idea that now, because I can speak to this myself. When I first left my job as a teacher, where I was getting in there early, leaving late, taking stuff home, when I first became an entrepreneur, I realized, oh my gosh, I'm working more than I was working before, and I was so stressed out. I didn't notice it to a certain degree because I was loving what I was doing as well. But I also realized that I was not doing the things that I really had intended to do. And you have to be very intentional. And that mindset behind the hustle and the grind, I realized, no, I don't, because that's not so smart. I don't want to be a hard worker in the sense of it being such a grind and a hard hustle. Nah, because I can do things that are smart. And that's where the automations, that's where the systems in place, that's where setting up standard operating procedures, so that if you are not there, somebody else can just pick up where you left off. Or if you hire somebody, you don't have to worry about, is it going to go down the way I did it? Because I know that a lot of people, especially moms, we do a lot of things like the laundry. We don't let nobody else fold clothes because we're like, they ain't going to fold it right. But I bet if you teach them, or if you have a system where they know exactly how to fold that towel the way you want it to be folded, guess what? I bet that stuff will get done and you won't be the one having to do it. Well, that's the same thing in business. You have to set up systems and standard operating procedures. And guess what? That's a smarter way of doing it than hustling and grinding. You have to find ways to make this work for you, because again, that whole idea is for you to get financial freedom, but also freedom to be able to spend time with your loved ones, because that's why you're doing what you're doing, and for yourself, period. Okay, so get away from that whole idea that you got to sacrifice yourself, right, in order to make, and your family and everything else in order to make this work, because it really can work. It has to be done differently. Why not? Why not? I'm just saying, it just needs to be done differently. We are not the same people that we see that go after that hustle and grind mentality. So there's no reason for us to do it that way.